Welcome back, Bravehearts, to Doc of Detox. I'm Dr. Darryl Wolf, and welcome to DocStar TV. And understand something, I do have a star on with me today, and his name is Dr. Gary Fong. And understand something, I'll tell you why he's a star, because he actually taught me about one of the most amazing products. Well, no, it's one of our most amazing products that we actually sell, but it is the most amazing products, you know, for energy. Do you know how many energy products are out there on the market today? How about not hundreds, but thousands? How many energy products actually go in and restore hormonal balance? Actually, even if you don't work out, they'll actually create tone muscle in the body. How many products do you know actually do that? I'm not making this up. How many products can you take that will give you full energy all day long, and at the end of the day, you are calm, you're at peace, okay? And you know that you've recharged your body, okay? What if this product was a full growth matrix and it was the only one of its kind that actually gave you all that energy, hormonal balance, it helped to tone you, okay? But it also kept your mind really sharp. Let me just say something. Do you ever notice something? How's your life going? It's okay. Well, that's okay because you've only got okay energy. Let me ask you another question. How many people in your family, okay, are sick and they're bedridden, or they can't seem to get motivated? They can't seem to get enough energy to get well. You do know that if you're sick, you have no energy. You do know that if you're sick and you want to get well, you need energy. Now, how are you going to do that? Let me tell you something. Everything I do is all about energy. I don't carry supplements, I carry energy medicine nutraceuticals. And our IGF-1 product that we're going to be talking about here today, okay, it sets itself apart from any IGF-1 product in the world today. It is completely natural. The IGF-1 that you used to make when you were in your 20s and early 30s, okay, is the same product. Your body can't tell the difference, okay, when you take ours, but that IGF-1 that you used to take used to give you abundant energy. You could go out and party tonight, come home at 2 or 3 in the morning. Remember when you used to be able to do that? And get up the next day, even though you had a hangover, and you'd recuperate and just in time to go back out again. Yeah, I don't want to do that anyways, even if I could, but the reality is this. I want you to know something. I'll be 65 years old in 4 weeks, and I have more energy, and most of my staff is in between the age of 20 and 40, okay? 20 and 40 years old. I mean, I have my practitioners, they're older, but the reality is the staff that makes everything happen around here, and they can't keep up with me. So you might want to ask yourself a question, why, and understand something. If you want to have really younger looking skin, if you want to have toned muscle, if you want hormonal balance, if you want a growth matrix that's going to go in and understand, and what about a product that's actually going to create energy, an IGF-1 product, and if you said to your doctor, I want to go on an IGF-1 product, and he says, yeah, but you've got cancer, it'll just trigger more cancer. Your doctor doesn't know what he's talking about, because this is not a synthetic IGF-1. This is an organic, all-natural IGF-1 that your body can't tell the difference if your human growth hormone went into your liver and made it, or we just gave it to you sublingually, and we have the only liposomal IGF-1 in the world. So, you know, I just said a lot, didn't I? But now let me just prove it with somebody that really has the background in the science and in the healing world, and that's Dr. Gary Fong. Hey, sir, would you like to come on?
Hi, how you doing? Darryl, by the way, my first name's Bruce, but
Bruce,
it's okay.
You know
Anyway,
what? I got to tell you why, because I actually deal with another doctor, and his name is Gary Fong. But I did that to you before, too. Remember, I did that to you before?
It's okay.
And guess what? Your name is right in front of me. So what does it take, right? I guess I need more IGF-1.
Yeah, well, we could talk about the dose after the show.
Okay, all right, thank you.
So yeah, you said a lot there, and it is very true. You're talking about a biologic growth matrix, and the main ingredient, of course, is the insulin-like growth factor 1, which, of course, everybody knows that insulin drives, say, like sugar into the cells, so that we can have that energy from that particular fuel. But this growth matrix, including the IGF-1, actually drives all kinds of metabolism, including the ability to actually even utilize fat for energy. So it helps us to burn that up. Then of course you touched on everything else. We can grow muscles and help them keep them strong, repair damage to the body. We can grow all kinds of other tissues, bone, nerves, and then the growth matrix itself is got a lot of collagen in it. So your skin is going to look great. But on top of that,
my research says that IGF-1 will create more collagen in the human body than any other product.
Right. It actually would stimulate that, but it also itself has a lot of collagen in it. So it's just wondrous for helping with the skin and keeping us again for healthy aging. So we not only look great, but on top of that, all the other things we were mentioning, it's going to make us actually feel great not on the outside, but all over in the inside as well. So there's so many things we can talk about in this particular realm. It's just an amazing product, and I really think that it truly is a godsend. And it's the way that we're set up metabolically that we get growth hormone. We have more of it when we're younger, and unfortunately it diminishes as we age. And the bottom line is the main thing that comes from growth hormone is the stimulation of the production via the liver of this compound known as insulin-like growth factor 1. And again, this insulin-like growth factor 1 is the primary motivator that I just discussed that does all those wonderful things. But on top of that, I'm just trying to touch on everything that Daryl was saying, is that this is a complete growth matrix. It comes from a biologic source. If you want to say it's bioidentical, it's bioidentical. It's, again, something the body is using the exact same things to run this metabolism that allows us to maintain ourselves, allows us to, if you will, age in a healthy way. And again, this whole thing about malignancies and cancers, the complete growth matrix itself has growth factors in it besides the IGF-1 that actually control the not only the rate or the types of growth, so that you're not going to get cancer from this thing.
So can we go a little slower? So let's talk about the cancer thing. So
okay.
And we'll talk about normal cells. So with IGF-1, it regulates the performance and the production of healthy normal cells. And when it comes to cancer, it inhibits cancer cells. Yes or no?
Yeah, I think you can probably put that out there for sure. Certainly, the IGF-1 is going to work with the proper normal metabolism, the normal growth of healthy cells. Cancer cells, on the other hand, are mutated cells that grow at an abnormally rapid pace. They don't naturally die.
Yes.
And so, again, the IGF-1 itself, this complete growth matrix, has factors in it that can actually help to inhibit it. Is it a complete way of treating a cancer? If you have cancer, absolutely not. But I don't think that it's necessarily harmful in the light of cancer. But again, this should be, again, a question that always that you take it with a grain of salt. But the bottom line is that with all the things that are in the complete growth matrix, there are factors that are there to control and regulate healthy growth of cells. And again, I'm not certainly touting IGF-1 as any type of treatment for cancer, but
no. But either was I. This is
exactly.
For one thing, I got to tell you something. We don't treat cancer. We never will treat cancer. People will come with the so-called symptom of cancer, but what we're looking for is we're looking for alignment. We're looking for healthy mitochondrial function. If you've got that, you don't have an autoimmune disease. We all know that.
So certainly, with the growth matrix we're talking about, the IGF-1 in particular helps to drive, you mentioned about autoimmune issues. It is going to help focus that immune system to actually go kill the bad things and help to regulate that immune response so that you don't have an overexpression of those things. You're going to control the amount of inflammation. You're actually going to probably help prevent the formation of any sort of autoimmune process where your own immune system tries to attack itself. So this again is another beautiful benefit of the insulin-like growth factor 1. It's a regulator across so many realms that it's just amazing what it can do.
You know, this product's like the tipping point, right? You get people saying, I'm doing everything. I'm eating right, I'm exercising, I'm getting my rest. I don't know what I can do to get my metabolism back up or help me get back into the present moment, to think clearly, to feel motivated in life again. Are you seeing that too? Are you seeing that too in your clinic?
Absolutely. Now, in our clinic, we see a lot of patients who come to us because they have a combination of things that are driving them down. And I think you've mentioned a lot of that already, but we deal with things like occult infections like Lyme disease, for instance, but we also deal with things like toxicities of the modern world, heavy metals, chemicals, right, even mold toxins. And we even deal with things like allergies, all the things that are driving your immune system in the wrong direction, which is bringing you down. And so when we start treating those things, we start correcting them. And then, but then, there are people who are very sick, and even if you get rid of all these things or get them regulated or whatever you want to call it, sometimes they're still not quite getting better yet. And that's where the IGF-1 growth, this whole matrix comes in, because now I got something that can help them repair stuff. Let's get rid of the bad stuff, but we need something that's going to motivate the healthy growth, the healthy repair of the existing natural cells and tissues, so that they can actually make the recovery. A lot of times you just simply get rid of an infection. You give you, like, for example, like COVID. You knock out COVID. Well, there's all these people that are calling themselves long haulers who have all these symptoms that basically continue to be there afterwards. Well, what's going on? Well, the body's not fully recovering. It's not, maybe it's not getting rid of something that needs to be gotten rid of, but also something is preventing it from being able to repair itself, bring itself back to its homeostasis. And sometimes that's simply a lack of the ability of the body to generate a reparative response, if you will, or to generate the proper means of rebalancing itself. And that's where the IGF really does come in and really, really excel.
Absolutely. I can tell you right now, when I first got it, so maybe we can talk a little bit of the difference between the 25,000 and the 300,000. I did go on the 25,000 just to see what that was like with me. Mm-hmm. And I just think I just put out too much. You know, I do a lot. I do a lot. I really like a full life, and that's the only way I want it. So, you know, I did the 25,000. I could feel it. It was nice. It really was. Anybody wants that more subtle. But the reality is I started doing the 300,000 3 times a day. And I have to tell you, and I know that people aren't going to believe this, but it's given me more energy and clear energy and like no ups and downs. And, well, we already know that human growth hormone that was made in our body that went to our liver created the IGF-1 that gave us that ability to be able to bounce back quick, to sustain our energy. And the reality is also, don't you find that people, even if they push themselves too hard, their bounce back time to regain their metabolism and to bring your strength back, do you not find that in your own life?
So certainly what we see is that, again, you're talking about different levels of the
Yes.
the IGF-1 products. But let me take that last part you were saying, the ability to bounce back, the ability to repair. There was and forgive me if I mispronounce his name, but there's a gentleman, a sports physiologist, I believe is what he was. He was a Dr. Arkady Colton, I believe his name was. He actually did studies on straight IGF-1, comparing athletes who were given some and a control group that weren't given it. And the athletes who actually received the IGF-1 actually showed that they recovered much more quickly when they were training strenuously. They actually put on gains of their muscle and their strength and their stamina much more quickly than the control group that did not receive the IGF-1. So in that one physical realm already, Yes, there's evidence there that clearly shows that that's the case. But also, just in general life, in all of us, we don't have to be the Iron Man or the triathlete or whatever. We go through every day, and let's face it, we're in a world that kind of tries to bring us down. And it's not just physical. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's otherwise. But the whole point about the IGF-1 is it can help restore you in almost any fashion. Not only can we do the physical part, like we talked about, to help repair things that might get damaged and help to restore a natural balance, help to strengthen the body, we can also talk about a ability to help balance things like hormones, an ability to generate more energy in the body, which can actually help the body to, shall we say, because forgive me for stepping in your territory, because you are the man of detox, but the doc of detox, but really that extra energy is going to help us detoxify junk out of our bodies. That's going to bring us down. All these various facets, you're driving a better metabolism, a much more controlled metabolism, a metabolism that is going to help you to not only achieve your ideal state, but potentially help you to even be more than what you thought you could be, and in a natural way. It's not going to harm you in any manner, like say taking steroids, like the bodybuilders sometimes are accused of doing. But it really helps you to build that gain in your muscle or gain in whatever function in your body in a very natural and very balanced fashion.
Said it allows you to become more than you believe your ability was to become. And the reality is stop comparing yourself to the majority of the population that doesn't look after themselves, that won't invest into themselves, won't invest into this. They'll just do what everybody else is doing. And I think I'm right, Dr. Fong, that if you're going to do what everybody else is doing today, you've got yourself in big trouble.
Oh, absolutely. We're especially yeah, I'm here in the here in Reno, Nevada, here in the United States. We mentality of most of the American public has been, give me a pill to fix everything. I don't need to take care of myself. I want that quick fix. That is a myth. You have to work with whoever your doctor or your care provider is. That is a partnership, number one. But your end of the deal is you got to do everything you can to make sure the foundation, you, can be as healthy as possible. Does that mean you don't need other things? Well, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, but your end of it is probably the biggest piece that needs to be your responsibility. You have to eat healthy. You've got to do everything you can to try to keep that body healthy, and then activity, having a way of detoxing, having a way to de-stress yourself. All those things are your responsibility. But we do have something here that can help all that. If you make that effort, this product is going to do so much more for you. If you just sit there and do nothing, it's still going to help you. But if you make that effort, you change yourself to be more healthy, whether it's diet, helping to take care of whatever the activity, or taking care of your stress, and putting that first, adding this product to there, I hearken to say it, but hey, maybe nothing can even stop you at that point. I think that you can achieve a lot more than you ever thought you could.
Isn't that the truth? And right off the bat, I'm going to say this, everyone. When were you the happiest? When you had energy. Everybody's happier when they have energy. What if your energy doesn't wane anymore? Now, I'm not saying that you're not going to, feel a little tired at the end of the day like everybody else does. But the reality is, if you're tired on an emotional and physical level, then you're tired on a cellular level. And the reality is if you don't feel energy, then you're not making energy and you're not restoring. So I want everybody to think about that. And like I was saying before, when you're not well, you don't have energy. But people want to be well. So what's going to get you up? What's going to get you motivated? What's going to make you feel like you have the energy to even do these things? Whether it's eat right, whether it's juicing, whether it's exercising, okay? We all know that when we have more energy, we're a lot happier and we're even smiling. What I'd like to do now, because I think this is the best way to do it, can you bring up the slide, please? All right. So let's talk about maximum athletic performance. So let's talk about, we know that a lot of the superstar athletes in the sports world actually rely on this product, don't they?
Yeah, actually, most of them have to do it clandestinely. It's interesting because here in the United States, the National Football Leagues, Major League Baseball, all the major professional sports leagues have actually said that this is an illegal performance enhancer, which we have vehemently disagreed and argued against.
Well, it's not, because it's naturally occurring in the body.
Right.
And
But that's the problem.
this is
is
a
you can't- you can't-
isn't
you
this
can't
a
find it.
pharmaceutical pushback or an AMA pushback?
You know, it's interesting. I think it's really more from the professional leagues and things like that. The reason they say that is because they can't find it. So
They can't find it when somebody takes it. Well, because
right,
it's natural.
Your body uses it up so fast. God gave you a metabolism to rapidly take this stuff in and get effect out of it as quickly and effectively as you can. So you use it up so quickly that you say if you're the athlete that has to go in to pee the next morning to go do a drug test, well, it's never going to show up there.
But this isn't a drug, and it's exactly
not a
the
drug,
same
exactly.
as the IGF-1 that I made when I was in my 20s.
Absolutely.
I know, but how can they say something that's so ridiculous?
Because they don't want it so-called being unfair. But then, my argument was when I was arguing, I think it was against Major League Baseball's ban, was to say, or even, I think it might have been the NFL, the National Football League, but I said, what happens if all of your players took this? Which could help them recover and protect them from injury, that they can keep playing for those, well, let's face it, outrageous salaries you give these guys. And the bottom line is, isn't it worth protecting your investment with a natural product that's not going to have any side effects? Well, they didn't have a response for me. I thought that was the funniest thing. I gave them that beautiful thing, and they don't even respond to me.
I know, but it's not exactly the same. But doctor, listen to me. It's like telling them that, you know what, all you guys can't eat salads. You can't eat properly. You can't juice properly. I mean, this is the same type of formula. Is just eating right, is giving somebody IGF-1 that the body can't tell the difference from when you used to make it. It has no toxic side effects, and it just helps everything in the body metabolically work better all the way down to the cellular level.
And that's absolutely true. Just as we were saying earlier, everything from helping to build muscle, helping to make that muscle stronger, both in immediate strength and stamina, helping to repair not only muscle but all the other tissues. As you work out, as you are athletically or any otherwise active, you are going to strain things, and that's what actually generates growth. Is that strain? Your body recognizes strain, so it's going to grow more muscle. It's going to grow other connective tissues and things like that. And so that's there, but this is the compound that is by design, by the Lord's design itself, through our metabolism, that was meant to help us to build that muscle, to help us to build all those other things. And that performance, it's not just about building the immediate tissues that give you this kind of strength. It's about all the different muscle fibers, for instance, to build up endurance, to build up stamina, and most importantly, to do it in a natural way that's well laid out, well balanced, that you're not going to get the side effects like you were saying, and to build, for instance, unnecessary muscle tissue. Because one of the scarier things about people that use illegal enhancers, such as steroids, is, well, they can make their hearts get more muscular. You might think that's a good idea. It might be for a short time, but as the muscle grows, your heart can only get so big, so it actually shuts down the amount of blood that you can shunt, and eventually the heart then changes its architecture permanently and starts to dilate, and that's an irreparable damage. That then the heart balloons out, then it gets bigger, but then no longer is it muscular, because then now the muscle fibers, which have to grab each other to pull, they can't reach each other because you stretch them apart. So that remodeling is something we never want to see, and that never happens with IGF-1.
Wow. Well, that's impressive, to say the least. Okay, so any age can take it pretty well, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Okay, any age can take it. So we need to understand that. And
right.
I'll tell you. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I was going to say, so, and forgive me, I didn't really answer that previous question about the different doses. So let me tackle that here.
Please.
Because people who aren't that active can start at the lower doses just to say, hey, wow, I take it, I'm going, I can get through the day better. I got more energy to tackle, hey, taking care of the kids, washing the dishes, making dinner, hey, going to work. Hey, I'm actually happy. I've got energy. I'm taking care of things. Hey, you know what? I want to work out now because I got that motivation. I got that extra energy. Okay, so, well, I'm taking the dose. Hey, maybe I need a little bit more. And that's where we start going upscale. If you're just, running on the treadmill or doing this or that, that's one level. But say if you're going to go, wow, I'm getting stronger. I feel better. Hey, you know what? I've always wanted to run a marathon, or I've always wanted to do the triathlete thing or the Ironman. And boy, as you keep working out, you're finding that you can actually take more of this stuff. And again, no side effects, but it's actually helping you to grow in a natural, balanced, and healthy manner that you have that strength, have that stamina, have that performance that you're looking for, and you can go up on those dosings all the way up to 300,000 nanograms in a particular bottle.
Well, okay, so I'm not going after Ironman, but I do the 300,000 dosing 3 times a day. But you know what? I'll go swimming for 45 minutes. So maybe somebody only feels that they need the 25,000. So I guess I just feel like I need it because of all the energy I push out during the day and to do that, right?
Absolutely. So again, it's not just about the physical exertion, but to help you to deal with stressors.
It's the mental
help you to
exertion.
Yeah. We all work in different ways, and it's not just about building muscle. It's about everything that we do. And I want to say God bless you, Daryl, for all that you do to help patients and all around the world. And that alone takes energy. That alone takes the ability to maintain your body, not just a healthy mind, but really the rest of your body has to be there with you to be able to provide that care for these patients that you've done so wonderfully.
Well, thank you. But you want to know something?
What's that?
That I don't find so hard. What I'm finding harder right now is how people are just losing it. They're losing it. They can't focus on the phone when I talk to them. I'll repeat myself. They'll say, you never said that. Or a lot of patients are getting on now and talking to me, and they can't get their thoughts, and they can't seem to make it like a string of pearls. They'll go to do something, and it's just like, and they're searching around. I think there's been so much anxiety and fear like just thrown out there, and then people just take it like a gift when they shouldn't. That's why I say people need to mind their own business, especially coming up this fall when they start to do it again. We're going back at it again, and people are going to really need to learn how to protect their energy, how to protect their health, and how to protect their minds first and foremost. What do you think?
I think there's no truer statement that can be made. You've got to build that foundation and build up your defenses, because everything in the world's trying to bring you down almost sometimes. And I'm not trying to make that sound like anybody being paranoid, but the point is that, it's not exactly the healthiest place to live anymore. And we have everything bringing us down. It's physical stuff, like I mentioned earlier, toxins, disease, and all that kind of stuff, but also all the negativity that's out there, all the things that keep telling you that everything's so bad. And I'm not trying to be one. I'm trying to give you something to work with. But actually, let's talk about that brain just a little bit.
Yeah,
in this complete growth matrix, not only is there IGF-1, which can kind of help with this, but there's also something called IGF-2, and there are neurotropins, which are things that help to maintain and grow nerve cells. So in this complete growth matrix, you are actually giving yourself the building blocks and the signaling to basically maintain your neurologic tissues, including your brain, just like you're maintaining the muscle tissues, like I was mentioning earlier. Maybe slightly different mechanism, but same principle.
Yeah, it's all about signaling, isn't it? And keeping the signaling going. And that's why, and everybody goes, oh, wow, do I have to do it forever? Well, I don't know. Do you need to exercise every day? Do you need to drink water every day? Well, you're going to have to take IGF-1 every day because you're not making it anymore. So we're going to replace it. So how healthy do you want to be? How much energy do you want to have? That's really the bottom line. And for some people, they're just not going to believe that they're worth the investment. Okay, so how about this? Let's talk about women. Let's talk about IGF-1 in younger women, middle-aged women, and older women. And what does it do for the female population? At what age? And what should we say?
Well, in all honesty, the complete growth matrix of the IGF-1, in particular the insulin-like growth factor 1, is a primary motivator and signaler of the endocrine system. And the endocrine system, well, I don't think we have enough time even with a 4-week course to fully understand that here. But the endocrine system is all about checks and balances. You release one thing, it gets to a receptor site. The receptors reflect back either through the neurologic system or somehow to the control mechanisms in the body and say, hey, I got enough, I don't got enough. And then we balance other things according to that, and then ultimately the brain tells the rest of the endocrine system how to, say, make more of this particular hormone or make more of this particular factor. And so the IGF-1 serves as a strong central balancer, for lack of a better term. In particular, in women, we find that this is going to be a little controversial, but women and testosterone, it's not supposed to be poison to you. You need testosterone, for instance.
Yeah.
And that helps to motivate you, helps to stabilize you. And again, because I'm a man here and I don't want to sound like I'm coming across as, the point is, a little bit of testosterone they're supposed to get. They're not supposed to get a lot of testosterone, but they're lacking that a little bit that they need. There is an imbalance. And that is where the issues about sometimes emotional lability, the inability to handle stressors, and even, this is the part that you may not get, but even motivators with the menstrual cycle, the pain you might be experiencing with that, say the PMS or the cramping and all that stuff, or even with ovulation. Those things, if they could be balanced better, sometimes it is because of a lack of testosterone, but also the understanding is that here's the IGF-1, it motivates production of luteinizing hormone, which helps to produce primarily these various compounds such as testosterone, but it also can help to motivate other production through direct and indirect means of the other hormones. So in other words, we're looking at trying to get a much more even keel, a much more even balance in your body so that the expression through the receptors of the cells that take in these hormones is going to be much more regulated. It's going to be much more, shall we say, balanced to maximize benefits in your body, to take away negative effects, like I was mentioning earlier. And so it's a complex answer, but hopefully I didn't make it too complicated. But the bottom line is, it's the great balancer, and I think that that's the best way for me to put that.
And it also is really great for collagen, for skin toning, and also
Yes.
even when we age, even when we're elderly, it'll help to tone up muscle, even if you're not working out. And I'll tell you something, I have so many people that are up in years and they're going, I'm not even working out anymore. And within weeks, they're telling me that they feel the tone, okay, they're slimming down, but they're toning up. So can you answer that? Why is that happening? Just because the IGF-1, that's one of its jobs when we were younger, to just maintain that?
Right, and again, that muscle tone maintenance could be everything from what I just was mentioning about that little extra bit of testosterone, but also the IGF-1, as we mentioned earlier, about physical prowess in regards to physical muscle tone, the ability to put on muscle, and more importantly, maintain that muscle is there. Because not only is insulin-like growth factor 1, that's one of its primary jobs, but get this, insulin-like growth factor 1 or IGF-1 helps you to metabolize your fat better. So you can utilize that for energy, burn that up, and allow that muscle tone to be more noticeable. Allow the muscles to not be interfered with by the fat so they can actually not only maintain, but actually might look a little bit more toned or even have a little bit more hypertrophy or mass to them. So it's a very interesting set of circumstances but they all go towards that. They'll make you look better and they'll make you feel better, for the lack of a better term.
And I'm going to tell you, and please don't get me wrong, but I can tell the difference in my own face. I mean, if people take a look at me, let's say a year ago, okay, and they took a look at me now, I actually, my face does look younger. And the only change that I've made in the last year was adding the IGF-1 300,000 to my diet. That was it. That was it. And also,
yeah, it's an incredible product. It can work in so many different mechanisms to provide us with that healthy aging, as I was saying earlier.
Beautiful. So what about IGF-1 with men? Let's talk about that one.
So very similarly, you're going to be able to maintain, put on, and repair muscles. And we as men, we're motivated obviously much more by the testosterone. So again, that increasing level of luteinizing hormone, which comes from the pituitary of your brain,
Right.
will actually stimulate much more testosterone development in us because we have more tissues that secrete testosterone. And so that testosterone is going to not only let us build up our muscles better or along with the direct effects of the IGF-1, but also testosterone very likely plays a role in a lot of our other health issues, including healthy vasculature,
Right.
healthy mood stabilization. You're really, okay, let's face it, like we always talk about ladies going through the change and not having enough estrogen. Well, guys, we go through the same change and we don't have enough testosterone. We're definitely not right.
Right.
We're not going to be in the right mode. Our mood not going to be, I should say, in that mood. And then even sometimes us thinking clear, it may not be there. I've had patients tell me that when they started testosterone therapies, that this weight lifts off of them, this heaviness in their brain and in their overall being. So again, don't do that to your family if you don't have to, or your loved ones. Take this product. Maybe you don't necessarily even need testosterone, but try this one first and see how much better you can feel, because it can stimulate your body to even make enough testosterone even when you're low to make up for that deficit. And again, but always track those kind of things with whoever your healthcare provider is. But again, this product has no ill effects. It can have so many benefits for all of us. Come on, guys, we want to look better. Let's get rid of those love handles. Let's get rid of that fat that's getting on places we don't need it to be. Let's let that muscle come out, because we're going to burn up that fat. We're going to put on that muscle. We're going to feel better in general, and we're going to have that ability to enjoy life, not only because of energy, but because of our ability to do so many more things than we did than if we were not taking this.
Absolutely. And you know what? Two things, and that is what people say to me as they get over the age of 60, closer to 70, and they'll say, I'm losing weight. No, you're not. You're losing muscle. And the reality is, if you do the IGF-1, you'll tone your muscle, but if you actually exercise, you'll get rid of the love handles, like you said. You'll get rid of the cellulite, and you'll actually turn it into muscle, because you've got the IGF-1 that you had when you were younger. So why wouldn't it work the same way that when you were younger? Of course it will. It's the exact same component.
Yeah, it seems to be the key component as we have less and less of the stuff as a result of less human growth hormone. I really would say that's the main motivator of us aging.
Absolutely. Let's talk about autoimmune diseases. How's that? IGF-1 and autoimmune diseases.
So autoimmune disease specifically, by strict definition, is where something has gotten into your body and triggered your immune system to attack yourself. The God-given defensive mechanism to kill bad guys in your body now, for some reason, is attacking you. The IGF-1 has various mechanisms whereby it increases certain cell populations in the immune system, but it also signals them to be much more keyed in on invading organisms or other things that we need to fight, as opposed to keying in on ourselves, for instance. It helps to focus it in one way, but even more so, you're controlling through various mechanisms the various inflammatory mediators that are expressed by the immune system to try to help kill the bad guys, but sometimes start to attack us, for instance. And there's a prime example of that, again, was during COVID. We realized that it wasn't COVID pneumonia that was really killing people, but this acute respiratory distress syndrome motivated by inflammatory mediators, primarily something called interleukin 6. Well, IGF-1 itself helps to motivate those various inflammatory mediators, such as the interleukins, so that the proper ones are expressed, and the ones that just generally are overly expressed, causing damage, can actually be downregulated. So it's just a wonderful a compound that helps us to regulate the way our immune system takes care of problems for us without causing us any harm.
Yeah, kind of calms down those wild horses, right?
Right, exactly.
It helps to buffer down the signals which are causing the body to attack itself, and trying to get it to think or at least signal differently.
Right, because if it's more concentrating on the actual pathogens, bacteria, viruses, toxins, and things like that in our body, if getting rid of those, you're actually going to start to motivate the immune response down, so that because you don't need it. If you're killing these guys off, these bad guys, well, do we need to still keep killing stuff? Well, there's nothing to kill. And the immune system recognizes that, and it will actually start to ramp down the response that's there, and prevent that excessive response that could lead to an autoimmune reaction.
All right, let's talk about IGF-1 and cancer, and not talk about it in the way of curative, because that's not what we're talking about. Not talk about it in the way that it's even a treatment for cancer. That's not what we're talking about. But cancer in the way that cancer is actually an autoimmune disease that's gone way out of control, how the inflammation is raging, okay, because that's how, even when somebody is determined whether they have stage 1, 2, 3 stage cancer, it's all about the inflammation that they're actually checking to see and regulating to see where that person is on the scale. So just from a metabolic point of view, where do you believe that IGF-1 will help to assist the body if somebody is suffering from what they call cancer, that symptom, that condition?
So number one, I mean, I would probably take it before that hand and say that it's probably one of the greater motivators of preventing the cancer, because you're promoting proper cellular metabolism, you're promoting proper cellular growth. So these abnormal cells, so cancer cells are abnormal cells that may be programmed in some way. There's something called an oncogene that can get activated, but the bottom line is something triggers them to become abnormal, continue to grow out of control, and actually become almost an immortal thing that forms what we call tumors. So in other words, normally your cells have a programmed time that they automatically are going to die, and they get replaced by another cell. Cancer cells don't do that. They keep living on until something gets rid of them. So in the essence of the immune system, number one, it has a function to try to pick up on these abnormal cells in the beginning and try to destroy them. But as the immune system sees more and more of these abnormal cells, then the inflammatory changes that occur as a result of trying to get rid of some of these abnormal cells that have now formed into something more organized creates a lot of other changes around there that some of them may not be as good, and it may allow for the increased inflammation, that other cells around the cancer are weakened, and or the fact that some of the cancer being attacked by the immune system sometimes could allow it to possibly get into various places, including the lymphatics, which then unfortunately allow it to spread. So these are some theoretical ways that the cancer and the immune system can interact in a negative way. Normally the immune system is a positive thing. The IGF-1 being able to regulate that immune response can actually help to lower that inflammatory response, can help to regulate that proper response by the immune system, even against cancer. And so it has benefits there, but by itself, it is not meant to be a solitary therapy, for instance. But it has a lot of potential benefits. But again, it is meant to really be more of a regulator of the normal cell metabolism than to be something that to help get rid of the cancer cells.
Yeah, so I mean, just regulating the normal cells and getting them healthier is going to help. On a side note, it's not like it's going after the cancer, it's going after creating a stronger body. That's it.
Exactly. So again, it's all about regulation. It's about lining up your own defensive mechanisms properly. It's about maintaining the rest of your cells so they can actually be stronger and actually, in essence, kind of try to compete against the cancer cells for like things like nutrients and everything else. You can actually maybe even help to starve out the cancer that way. But again, that's not meant to be a claim there. It's just theoretically, all these things, if you can make your own regular cells, the normal cells, more healthy, it makes it that much harder for the cancer cells to grow.
Absolutely. Let's talk about chronic illness.
Okay. So in general, when you're talking about chronic illness, we're talking about anything that's in your body that is going to continuously affect you from the point forward. What we're looking at is that a lot of times things build up in our system. They can be infections, they can be toxins, they can be various other things that don't belong in our body that ultimately trigger a response by our immune system that may not always be beneficial. It's just creating inflammation for the sake of creating inflammation, and we feel that through our body. Sometimes we don't have a specific way of feeling. We just kind of feel blah. I'm like, okay, I feel run down. I don't know why. Or we have a specific area of our body that can start to hurt or be dysfunctional. But in the end, the more stuff that you build up in your body's normal mechanisms of getting rid of this, the lymphatic system, which goes to the liver
Right.
detoxes
Right.
and processes things and ultimately sends it out through the bowel.
Right.
Well, those mechanisms get so badly jammed up that ultimately things start to backwash into the cells, the tissues, and everything else. And your body, whatever area that those things are building up in, it's going to become more and more dysfunctional. So how does IGF work in that? IGF-1 in particular works towards what we've talked about immune modulation, helping to not allow excessive inflammation, which is really the main motivator of the negative stuff here as well. We can help reduce that inflammation, but it also regulates that immune system, hopefully pointing it a little bit more specifically to those pathogens and trying to take those pathogens out. But here's the part that I don't think a lot of people understand is that IGF-1, this complete growth matrix, is absolutely safe to use in almost any other say therapy, whether it's allopathic or if it's natural or homeopathic, whatever. All of these particular therapies can work in conjunction with this growth matrix, which is serving to balance things out, serving to strengthen you, to build you up. So again, all of this used in combination is a very everyday thing for our clinic here in Reno, which is the Sierra Integrative Medical Center. But the biggest thing that we find with the IGF-1 is that it helps our patients to recover that much faster.
We need energy. It's always been about energy.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about weight loss and IGF-1.
So IGF-1, of course, drives the metabolism in the body to a large degree. It helps to change body composition, like we've mentioned, about increasing, maintaining, and actually toning up the muscle mass, and at the same time creating metabolism that allows us to burn fat up more efficiently to utilize for energy. So by definition, the weight loss is something that we should probably define better. It's fat loss. We're trying to burn up the excess tissue in our body that is really inert. It's not doing anything for us. And really, that's what we're trying to burn up. We're trying to build up the metabolically active tissues, such as the muscles, and to drive that change in the body makeup, via the metabolism, but that body makeup that we want more lean body mass, less fat mass, and that's really how this drives things. But by definition, insulin-like growth factor 1, because it is like insulin, it's going to more effectively help us to utilize our energy and not leave things laying around, such as excess sugars that could lead to fat deposition in the body as well.
I couldn't have said it better, especially when you said it's not weight loss, it's fat loss. And even if we go a little deeper, it's not fat loss. The fat is used to store the inflammation and all the infectious materials that could cause you critical problems with your organs. Mm-hmm. So that's why we got the love handles. That's why we got the abdominal bulge. I mean, that's why we get it around our waistline and our thighs, because it's all that extra toxicity, and most of it is stagnation that can happen around the waist, right? And from the large intestine.
Right, and again, that theory is actually very strongly utilized by a lot of integrative practitioners around the world, is that your fat is indeed a storage facility for various unprocessed infections, toxins, or whatever.
Yes.
And so the more fat we put on, a lot of times it does sort of indicate that we may actually have another issue of not being able to metabolize certain things properly. It's interesting to see that in my professional experience as an internal medicine doctor, um, sometimes at the end of life when I see patients, back when I did work in the hospital, the that they've got cancer, they're wasting away, and they're starving to death because the cancer's taking all the stuff away. Yet they look like they're bloated, more like this. And what is that about? Well, that's some people. Well, that's lymphatic, congestion, etc., which is true, but they are still depositing fats all over their body, and they look bloated because there's nowhere for these toxins to go. And really, again, your lymphatics are supposed to take it to the liver. At this point, these patients are probably got cancer or whatever in the liver itself. Everything's congested, so all these depositions, they got nowhere to go, so the body has to put it somewhere, and that's where the fat actually plays that role.
I couldn't have said it better. How about longevity in IGF-1?
Well, you can ask the ancient Chinese. They knew this one for sure. Realized that the ancient Chinese used their source of the IGF-1 to actually promote longevity, and this is well known. All the different effects we've talked about here, the better body makeup, the maintenance of the good tissues, the burning up the bad tissues such as the fat, but in general the maintenance of everything, the healthy aging of everything allows not only for muscles and fat to be in better proportion, but guess what? Your organs are being stimulated the right way. There were some studies that done about the IGF-1 and cardiac function, which clearly showed an improvement in cardiac function with the utilization of the IGF-1. There's been studies about, we talked about the neurologic functions in the body, and the IGF-2, the neurotropins, which are in this growth matrix, can help to maintain that. But in general, all these different growth factors are not just there to grow things. So let's make that clear. They're there to help maintain healthy tissues in the various places in the body. And again, we mentioned the muscle, of course, nerves, bones, skin, and all these things. So in regards to longevity, if all your tissues, which make up your organs, are that much more healthy, that means your organs are that much more healthy. That means you can help keep all the things going the right way for that much longer. So just trying to give you a common sense answer to this is that if you can make all those other things be better at the various cellular levels, then everything works its way up tissue to the organs. And if the organs are working better, you are going to live longer. That's all there is to it.
Beautiful. How about virility?
Virility. So when it comes to virility, especially in males, of course, we mentioned earlier about the increased levels of luteinizing hormones, which result in increasing testosterone levels. To say it nicely, utilizing this product, men are going to feel much more, not only because of increased energy, but increased testosterone. Their drives are going to be up. Their ability, to perform, very likely will be increased unless there's other issues going on. But overall, everything that you can imagine for feeling younger. And I don't want this to get dirty or taken the wrong way, but like we said, we want to feel like we did when we were kind of in the prime of our life, like when we're, say, in our early 20s or whatever. And as males at that point, obviously, we had a much stronger drive. And so the IGF-1 tries to help us bring back that level of feeling, not only in performance, but in libido, etc., but in general, that whole nature of being that, I'm trying to use a word that's not going to be offensive here, but say that
Lovemaking.
Yeah, the lovemaking. I guess I didn't want to use the word we're going to be the beast we used to be. No, that just sounds awful. But in all honesty, we're trying to get us back to how we felt back then.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, IGF-1 and hormonal balance. How's that?
So again, IGF-1 plays a critical role in helping to balance all the various hormones because of the complexity of the endocrine system, where one thing acting on one compound, the hormone or whatnot, acting on a specific receptor, a specific tissue, triggers responses that change other hormones and other compounds by balancing things. And of course, a lot of that's processed through the hypothalamus pituitary part of the brains. And the IGF-1 plays a very critical role not only in the feedback mechanisms, but also in the tissues themselves that are affected by these various hormones, that they're in a better state to utilize the hormones. So all in all, the effect of hormones, it's not about just numbers of, hey, here's my estrogen, here's my testosterone. It's also about how well your tissues can utilize those given hormones. And the IGF-1 plays a critical role. If it's making all the things work better, obviously those tissues can take in the various hormones and utilize them and get maximal benefit from that, as opposed to being blocked because of other things that are involved in those tissues at the time.
Beautiful. And what about anti-aging? A lot of my clients, patients, they call this the fountain of youth. So.
Yeah. So again, the IGF-1 being the main motivator of human growth hormone, again, it's got all those wonderful functions that we've mentioned here again about not only the hormones, but the maintenance of all the different tissues, getting rid of the fat. And in general, even with the skin, again, we talked about motivators of producing collagen, but also the growth matrix itself has a lot of collagen in it. So not only do we feel better and stronger inside, and we're able to process things metabolically much more effectively, but on the outside, it even makes our skin look better. It gives us more energy. Dare I say it, almost like a glow to certain people because they feel so much better. But the bottom line is that's what this is about. It's about giving you healthy aging, maintaining the best that you can be going forward, and not feeling run down or feeling pulled down because some number on your birth certificate says you're supposed to be this old and you're supposed to act that way. Well, bully to that. I'm never going to have somebody tell me, hey, act your age. If I act my age, I couldn't do half the things I could do right now, and taking care of people, taking care of all my kids, and that's just a really dumb statement. Act your age. Well, at least for my
yeah,
for
I
my
totally
age.
agree. I totally agree. And that's how I feel. You know what? It doesn't matter, does it? As long as you feel really good about your life and you've got energy. I mean, it was supposed to be fun. It was supposed to be exciting. And right up until the very last day, the very last moment, it was supposed to be fun. It was supposed to be exciting. And I don't mean to be like this, but that we've been ruled, screwed, and fooled on this one, and we truly have. Look at what people say. It sucks to grow old. I don't like being in pain all the time. And then I know. Take a look at yourself and look at the people that you know around your age. I bet you're finding the same thing, that you're nowhere where they are, and you never want to be. Am I right or wrong?
Well, I mean, specifically my age group, most of my colleagues don't take care of themselves. I'm just going to say it. If you guys hear this, I'm sorry, but I'm going to tell you the truth. You don't take care of yourselves. There's very few of you that do the right things. And yeah, I mean, everybody always tells me I look younger than what I am. I'll disclose it. I'm 53 years old, and people tell me I look at least 10 years younger typically. And I don't know if that's. I really don't think that's just genes, because again, I use the IGF-1 product. I use the 100,000 level one. And again, it helps me to be able to do all the different things I do. Not only do I run a medical clinic. At one time, I was the president of a licensing board in this state. I was at one time the head of the Osteopathic Association in the state. I'm currently still a medical director for an emergency medical service in a rural county in the state, which I run around with my ambulance guys every so often. So I have a lot of things that I do that sometimes can be very physically, mentally, or emotionally demanding on me. And if I didn't have that IGF-1 there, I don't think I could do what I could do.
Absolutely. I feel the same way, and I don't know. Sometimes I kind of feel like I'm getting away with something. I actually do. I feel like I'm getting away with something, that I'm able to perform at this level in my profession, and I'm going to continue to do it. And I want everybody to understand something, that I'm not trying to build the product or over promote it, because you wait till you start taking it. Just take a one bottle and then ask yourself if I'm telling you the truth. And you're going to feel it. What would you like to leave everybody with, Dr. Fong?
I'm going to probably echo the statements you said earlier. Really, you know, God gave you this life so that you could be, say, of use to Him. But it also means that we need to enjoy and to experience this life to the fullest. And if we allow aging to prematurely shut us down on that, I think that we're, in some essence, almost sinning. We're not allowing our full potential to come out. So I encourage everybody to try this, to give yourself that full potential. And so, and with that, Daryl, I want to tell you, by the way, you look marvelous. I actually did not realize you're almost 65. So I think you look great. And I think that everybody else has that potential to look as great as Daryl does and be able to do as much as he does. And really, everybody deserves that chance to really enjoy life to its fullest. So really consider giving this product a shot.
And thank you, but you know what? I'm going to tell you something, that my behavior should be called normal. The way I look should be called normal. And if anything, I wish that everybody else would challenge me to look after myself even more. You know, it's very difficult to look after yourself when most people don't know how to do it, and they think it's almost like a selfish act to do it today. Dr. Fong, I want to thank you again, and we had a couple bumps trying to do this show, but I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And we'll be getting together in about 2 weeks, right?
Absolutely. Well, love to get together and let folks know about what we do out here too.
We're coming for you.
All right, thanks.
God bless, my friend.
God bless you. Take care.
Thank you, sir. So anyways, I just want to say this right now, everyone, that we were going to stop the sale 1 minute to Friday night, and believe it or not, we got a lot of calls about people, and believe it or not, I've never had this before, where people say, I'm just waiting to get more money, I'm waiting, or I'm too busy, or it just was enough. So everybody wins, and what we're going to do is we're going to leave the sale running until Monday at 1 minute to 12. And so I hope that everybody has the most beautiful weekend of their life, okay? And whatever you're doing, just make sure that you're loving what you're doing, and make sure that you really stand for yourself, and make sure that you demand those things that you deserve in your life, all right? I want to thank everybody for joining me, and I just want to wish you again the best life ever. God bless, and never forget, 3, 2, 1, you've got this, Braveheart. Hey, Bravehearts, how would you like a story? Everybody likes a good story. So I'm going to tell you a little story, and then I'm going to play you a little song. And this song is called Milk the Monkey. Now, here's the deal. You know, things just come together sometimes, and it's the craziest thing. You know how they talk about monkeypox as the next thing that we have to be V'd for? Okay, well, understand, this was not what my discussion was. I'm telling you the truth. We were in a whole life coach certification class, okay, and we were talking, and somebody said, well, can you explain why it is that people drink cow's milk? And I'm going to tell you something. I won't go through why I explained, but the reason why cow's milk is poisonous to every human being. I'm not going to do that. But I said, if you were going to drink any milk at all, I mean, human beings are the only species that drink milk after we're weaned. So think about that. We're not that intelligent. So I said, but if you were going to drink any milk at all, you should milk a monkey. And I said, guess what? That's what we should do. We should milk a monkey. We'll probably save the world. And out of this discussion, one of my practitioners sent my little piece that I talked about on milking monkeys instead of milking cows, because it sounds more logical, because monkeys are more like us. And she sent my discussion that I had to a musician friend who mixed it up, and he made a song called Milk the Monkey. Okay, so here's the deal. It wasn't about monkeypox. It was about milking monkeys, because if you really want to get some milk, go milk that monkey. Okay, save the world, save your life. Do whatever you think you need to do. Check out this song, okay? And let's milk that monkey. Monkeys are more related to humans, so we should start milking monkeys. No, I'm serious. Who's with me? Okay? Okay, you haven't lived until you've milked a monkey. Yeah, a monkey, yeah. Wow, that could be the cure. Okay, that's it. We've got to start a marketing, milk the monkey. What if we were to make a song out of it? We could save the world. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm serious. Who's with me? Okay? Okay, you haven't lived until you've milked a monkey. Yeah, a monkey, yeah. Wow, that could be the cure. Okay, that's it. We've got to start a marketing, milk the monkey. What if we were to make a song out of it? We could save the world. Yeah. 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 A monkey. Yeah, a monkey. Could save the world. So further. But monkeys are more related to humans, so we should start milking monkeys. No, I'm serious. Who's with me? Okay? Okay, you haven't lived until you've milked a monkey. Yeah, a monkey, yeah. Wow, that could be the cure. Milk the monkey. What if we were to make a song out of it? We could save the world. Yeah. What if we made a song out of it? We could save the world. We could save the world. Milk the monkey. What if we were to make a song out of it? We could save the world. Yeah. Milk the monkey.